Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Iamtongue, and in today's video, I just want to share with you guys my thought process on how I took this shot right here and how everything came together, from getting the model, from choosing a location, from how I operate when I'm in a photo shoot, and how I got these colors and the composition and the lightings that I use. I was recently on a podcast with another Fuji creator, and he suggested that I do one of these types of videos where I share my thought process and how I was able to achieve this shot. He said there is value in here for people wanting to learn. So special shout out goes out to you, Dylan. I appreciate that. So we're going to talk about this shot right here I took of the lovely Tatiana, the queen shot. I love everything about this shot. The colors, the lighting, the model's look, composition, they all came together to create what I think is a good looking image, in my opinion. So we're going to start with what people want to know first, and that is how I got the model to agree to do this shoot with me. So this was my second time shooting with Tatiana, so I've already built that rapport with her, and there was a level of trust from the first shoot that we had. I was in contact with her agency before I met her. I didn't know she was a part of that agency, so this route isn't going to be an option for some people who are just starting out. If you guys want to start working with agency models, you got to prove yourself first. Otherwise, you can find models via your local Facebook model and photography group, or search through your local hashtags on Instagram. When I was in Toronto, I would search hashtag Toronto models. So it's up to you to see what kind of hashtag people are using in your area. The location. So once I got the model, I booked the Neon Studio, which has recently closed down. RIP to that studio, man. Hopefully it comes back one day. It's such an awesome studio. I have fond memories in that studio. And I knew with a model like Tatiana, I will get a lot of amazing shots in there. And once we all arrive to the location, depending on how long you have, I like to start with warm-up shots. I really don't go to the best scene in the studio right off the bat and try to force an image. I like to get in there and then start snapping photos, building that rapport again and getting to know her as a person. This is my warm-up shots, and it's usually anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And because I know that the first 15 to 30 minutes are warm-up shots, I'm not going to put much effort into them. I may get some good shots, but I know most of the warm-up shots are shots that I won't be using. It's just so we can both catch a vibe off each other, and we can both get comfortable around each other. I think that's very important. So I shot with many models, and the one consistent thing they tell me is they like how I communicate with them. Not just communicating for like posing, but talking to them, giving them feedback, and then giving them positive reinforcement. It builds confidence, and you won't believe how much they relax after breaking the ice and bringing a playful and light energy on the shoot. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have videos called portrait sessions on my YouTube thumbnails. That's what I usually try to do. You see in those videos, I try to crack jokes. I make witty, dry, sarcastic jokes. I try to bring a light tone into the shoot. I just want to let you guys know now that I am an introverted person. So if I don't have a camera in my hand, I'm often quiet. I get a bit of anxiety being in large places. I honestly don't like random people. It makes me nervous. But when it's time to shoot, I have a camera in my hand, and I have to be the person that takes control of the situation and try to create that fun shooting experience for the people involved. I have to talk more to them, make more jokes, give positive reinforcement. It's still me, but it's amplified. And I think that's the best thing you can do as a photographer. Try not to be weird in front of people, Just keep it light, whether you're shooting weddings, family portraits, headshots, etc. You just gotta spread the good vibes around. The models, they're looking to you for guidance. If you're new to shooting portraits, just fake the confidence. Don't be shy, don't be timid, and don't keep to yourself. Always engage and always interact in between shootings. Can you just imagine if you're this type of portrait photographer that does this on a shoot? Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. Do this, do that, do that, do that. Yeah. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I feel that this all led to eventually this shot, the shot that I'm showing you right now. If I haven't set the tone, made it fun, I honestly don't think I would have gotten this shot. People are more loose, they're willing to take more risks because of the tone that I've set. Just imagine if I was the other photographer, the shoot would probably end an hour earlier. Just saying. So again, it's very key to just keep everything playful and light. That's how I've done things. You can see it in my portrait session videos. I try not to take things too seriously. That's my style and it's worked for me, and I've been getting pretty good results because of it. So in terms of composition, this crown hanging on the fence was a new scene that the studio owner John showed me. I'll admit, when he first showed me an image of it, I can see where he's going with it. The idea of framing it up in a way where the model looks like they were wearing a crown is not my idea. He showed me a shot of what he did and I just thought, I think I could do this better. I didn't want to start at the scene at the beginning. I knew I had to warm up to it and get my creative juices flying with the warm-up shots. So don't try to force it, guys. Just let it come to you. Don't try to force any bangers. Just do your warm-up shots. I had to grab the chair and position it in a way that made the crown touch her head. I've seen a lot of crown shots from that studio, and I find that they're usually shot with a wider lens, and the crown is not framed in a way that the person is wearing it. It's not placed on the model's head. It just looks like the crown was just floating over their head. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I chose to shoot this with the Fujifilm X-S10 and the Fujifilm XF35mm f1.4. And the reason why I chose the 35 was because of its mid telephoto compression. I've seen a lot of shots taken with a wide lens, and usually wide lens don't have the same impact like the good old nifty 50 equivalent lens. Now with the XF35mm f1.4, I was able to focus my frame onto the model without having any other distractions in the background. And if you take a look at the photo, you can see how I framed Tatiana. You got the two sides of the pose. It sort of frames the crown in a box, kind of in a way. It goes down to the pointy part of the chair. You know, the headrest right here, it kind of like points out a little, kind of curves. And I find this composition also grounds the model within that confine. You got here almost looks like a leading line, and then the model's head close to the crown as if she's wearing it. I find this to be a very great composition. It feels balanced. You got the leading lines, you got a frame within a frame. If you can see how I placed the model, she was framed inside that rectangle shape. And then there's also a crown on top of her head. And I just find that it was a pretty cool shot. The funny thing about this scene is that there's multiple lights going around. You got the crown as somewhat of a backlight or a hair light, and it's glowing, which is freaking dope. And then, do you see how the background is green? What I did here was turn off all the lights from the other side of that scene and left only the neon sign drugs on. It's a neon sign that just radiates just a beautiful green. It's almost like cyan or teal. That gave me a light to fill out the darkness back there. And it gives some context to what it is back there, and it gives details to the background, which I really, really like. It also acts like a random spotlight for the background, which is great. I also have two RGB light stick that is on her face. With that, I tried to keep things matching to the green and yellow color scheme. Again, you have the yellow crown and then the green background. And I like those two colors because those two colors are complementary colors. If you move the wheel around, you know that this is another way of saying orange and teal. Orange and teal is known to be the cinematic color grading, been done by Hollywood. It's been done by many famous YouTubers out here like Peter McKinnon, Maddie, and all that. These colors do complement each other very well, and the colors from this shot is amazing in my opinion. So I matched the two colors on the RGB light stick, and I just had it angled down a bit so you can see the highlights hitting her cheekbones. In this scene, it was just an idea that got popped in my head like after like a few hours of shooting. Again, this is what I mean by doing those warm-up shots, getting to the place where you think you're going to get your best shots. And that could only be done because I got my creative juices flowing. If I were to done this first, I probably wouldn't have done such a great job. Color theory is important when you want to introduce colors into the shot. So what I recommend is for you guys to like look up into color theory, look into complementary colors, look into monochrome colors. I forgot there's other colors that work well together. So just find which one that works for you. If you study color theory, you're going to have more knowledge in what colors work well with each other, what works well in harmony. And because you know color theory, it could elevate your photos to the next level. And afterwards, I take this shot, I did some editing in post. Most I did in this shot is a little bit of skin retouching, a little bit of color grading, and a little bit of contrast added in Adobe Photoshop. That's how I ended up with this shot you're seeing right here. And this is one of my favorite shots I've taken over the years. I'm very proud of the way the colors came out, and the composition is just really good in my opinion. And if you guys find this video insightful or helpful, please let me know. I'm just wondering if I should continue explaining this and to share my insight with you guys. Is this something you guys would be interested in, like a series? You know, every so often I would just explain my thought process to you guys on how I achieved this shot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you did find this video useful, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. I got more photography and Fuji related content coming your way. And as always, my name is Tongue, and I'll see you in the next video.